So here's an uncomfortable truth. There has been a lot. Some might even describe it as a flood of supposed 1944 steel Lincoln cents appearing on the market as of late. And yet, the major grading companies only list a few dozen of these coins in the official population report, which means that if a 1944 steel cent crosses your path, the odds are overwhelmingly against it being real. But before I show you how to tell the difference between a fake and a real coin, let's take a quick look back to see just how we got here to begin with. As you probably already know, in 1943, copper was desperately needed for the war effort to make shell casings, tanks, and so forth. So the mint decided to stop using copper for a single year and minted pennies from zinc-coated steel instead in 1943. But when they returned to the usual copper coins in 1944, a few of these older steel planchets were still stuck in the machinery, so to speak. Stuck in tote bins or accidentally mixed in with normal copper planchets for the same year. And when the presses started running again for 1944, these steel stragglers got minted alongside their copper brethren, and the 1944 steel cent was born. And today, as a result, these coins are tremendously valuable, and they appeared at all three mints. Philadelphia has definitely the most, with between 20 and 30 known examples. Denver has a few less, at only around 7 to 10 coins known to exist, and San Francisco comes in last with only 2 coins that are confirmed to exist. In 2025, one of these coins, graded by PCGS as MS66, was sold at auction by Great Collections for $490,500. And that popularity and scarcity is where things get awkward. Recently, there has been an unusual amount of these coins flooding the market. Almost certainly every single one is a forgery, a fake, a fraud. A quick search on third-party marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, or even Temu apparently will reveal dozens of these coins available at any given time. Now, some of the sellers are at least listing these as restrikes or something similar. However, not a single one of these coins that I've seen has been stamped with the word copy on it. So for an unwitting buyer, they might assume that it's real. And they are selling from, anywhere from $10 each up to literally thousands of dollars that we're seeing these listings close for. So how can you tell if you come across one if you have the genuine article or a pretender? Well, the easiest way to tell immediately is the good old-fashioned magnet test. Steel cents are magnetic and will stick to a magnet, whereas a copper cent is not and will not stick to a magnet. One of the oldest tricks to fake one of these coins is to take a genuine 1944 copper penny and then zinc coat it or steel coat it so that it looks real. The next easiest step is then simply to weigh the coin. Again, the steel penny should weigh around 2.7 grams, whereas a copper cent will weigh 3.1. Or at least between 3 and 3.1 grams. So if your supposed steel cent weighs more than 2.7 grams, or either significantly less than that too, then chances are excellent that it's yet another fake. The next step is simply to examine the coin very closely. Compare it with a known genuine example. You can get high quality photos of these coins on the WNN website or on websites like PCGS or auction sites like Heritage or Stack's Bowers that you can compare it to. Pay particular attention to the date, especially the 4s of the date. If you spot anything suspicious like tooling marks or scratches that look like they shouldn't be there, or if the letters are spaced strangely, too far apart, or spaced too closely together, then that is a major alarm bell. Also, look at the letters of liberty. This is a key diagnostic point. If the letters are too mushy or too soft, then it's probably a fake, because the authentic examples are not only sharp, but they are typically also very close to the edge of the coin. At least the L of the letter of the word is. This happens because the steel cents were harder than the copper ones, so the striking differed, pushing the L closer to the rim of the coin as a result. Also, pay particular attention to Lincoln himself. The neck, for some reason, is something that the out-and-out fakes just can't seem to get right. Fortunately for us, that is. Also, the cheekbones and Lincoln's nose are also things that you should pay particular attention to. Next, you should look out for plating bubbles, in case the coin that you have was electroplated or zinc-plated, as these often occur as well. These will be tiny bumps, or even in some cases pitting, typically inside the fields of the coin or along the edges of the rim, or where Lincoln's portrait meets the fields of the coin itself, are all places that these might occur. And then just check the overall detail of the coin too. If the devices are mushy or look worn out and yet the coin is nice and shiny, then chances are it was a zinc-plated coin. How this happens is they take an old 1944 copper cent and then just zinc plate it. The steel penny typically has a sharper strike and more crisp details on the devices. Also, if the coin does have an S or a D mint mark, check the mint mark very closely, as it is also another point where forgers typically falter. And another piece of advice is just to not buy an ungraded 1944 steel cent, or insist that this seller has the coin graded if you suspect something strange. A genuine seller will not have a problem with this. Genuine 1944 steel pennies sell at auction for tens to up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the grade of the coin and the mint mark it carries. And then finally, if you do find a coin that actually is in a third-party grading slab, then check the serial number against the company's website. CACG, NGC, PCGS, all of them allow you to check the serial number to make sure that the coin is in fact genuine. So that is largely how you make sure that your 1944 steel penny that you might come across in the wild is genuine. But as always, education about these things is the most important thing. If you have the knowledge, then you can protect yourself against these shady people out there. So stay safe and subscribe to WNN, and feel free to watch another video about spotting fake 1914D Lincoln cents right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman, saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.